What episode is this?
Holy cow.
Welcome to episode number 7. How do you say that in Spanish? Siete.
Amigo, qué bueno.
Episode number 7 of the Kill Your Ego podcast. This is going to be a good one. We've got Brady from Go Fast Don't Die and everything else. Brady Till Death from Go Fast Don't Die. Brady will be on a lot of these podcasts, hopefully, if I can keep talking him on. He's probably one of the greatest people I've ever talked to in my entire life. Person sitting to my right, for those watching on YouTube, is Dugan Irby. Dugan, how old are you?
I'm 18.
I want to put you on this. This whole thing is going to be Brady and I just putting you on the spot.
I got a little bit of that there. I had to think about how old I was for a second.
The answer is legal.
I'm 18.
You're legal.
I am legal.
He's legal. So, several reasons, and you'll figure out real fast why Dugan is on the show. But the main reason I wanted to, before this thing fires up, if you have a kid that's in high school and you listen to this podcast, you know, I may use some colorful language. These two guys might not, so I'm just going to give you a warning. But if you have a kid that's in high school, they probably ought to listen to this episode. So I'm just going to jump right into it. Dugan, when I moved here to Wyoming, when we moved here, we opened up the coffee shop, and we were looking for a local band to play. And Dugan's bandmate, Rod Jost, who's not on the show, but Rod and Dugan came into the shop, and we asked him to come play at the coffee shop. And, you know, the first time I heard Dugan play music, I was absolutely blown away. And since then, that's actually been before the shop opened. It's been a couple years. Dugan and I have, you know, I consider Dugan a very good friend a really good friend at this point. And I know Brady, I won't speak for you. Brady, I think, feels the same way.
Oh, Dugan and I have had some pretty intimate time together.
Oh yeah, maybe shouldn't be discussed on this show though.
Oh man, this is already going downhill.
We're close. Let's just say that.
Yes. So Dugan, you know, we'll let his music Dugan speak for himself and his music speak for himself. But one of the most interesting things I've seen, because I'm going to talk about myself real quick and then I won't talk about myself again. I was not a good student, and I got my GED at high school in Kansas, and my senior year, I would rather have been somewhere else. It wasn't that I was a bad student. It was that I was a lazy student, and more importantly, I would have much rather been somewhere else, skiing, hiking, kayaking, doing anything, riding a dirt bike outside, just anything other than sitting in a classroom with people that were worried about what kind of sneakers they were wearing or I was wearing or anything else in this world. And I'm not judging anybody. I'm just saying it wasn't for me. I didn't like cliques. I didn't like this, that, and the other thing. And somehow I got immersed in that as a kid, and I just didn't like school. I would have much rather been spending time with a dog outdoors. Circle to now, 44 years later, you know, not 44 years later, but at 44 years old, that's what I'm doing now. I spend all my time in the woods with dogs. And I did not get here on an easy path. I created a lot of problems for myself. And I say I created because every problem I've ever had in my entire life, I created that. The more that I analyze my life in the woods, Brady and I talk about this, the people you bring into life, the choices that you make, everything you do in this world, unless it's an illness or an accident or a tragedy that happens that's out of your control, every other problem you have is your own problem. The people you bring into your life, the jobs you take, the money you spend, the stuff you buy, your actions, the way you speak to people, they are your problems. And those are choices that you have to make. I'm going down this path because I'm talking about choices. So to start this thing off, Dugan was an exceptional student here in Wyoming, did well enough in school to get a scholarship to go to college. A few months back, left here, excited. Everybody at the coffee shop that knows Dugan, everybody in town that knows Dugan, to include Brady, everybody that's close to Dugan, knew that Dugan was very excited to go to college. Dugan left, went to college, and I'm going to let you take the story over from right there. From the day you left town, gave everybody goodbye, hugs, high fives, and went to college, Dugan, take over. And if you have a kid, again, that's in high school, grab them and bring them into the room or turn it up in the car and have your kids listen to this. This will probably be the single most important podcast I've done or maybe will ever do. Go ahead.
Yeah. So college, I was really excited about it, but not really because I was excited about doing schoolwork and all of that. I like you, also hated school really bad. I did well, because I had to, because I still don't know what I want to do. I mean, I do, but I don't know how I'm going to do it. So I wasn't originally planning on going to college. My first plan was, do online college through a college in Boston. And I told everybody I was going to pack my stuff up in my van, grab my dog and my motorcycle on the back and my guitar and hit the road and do online college. Yeah, it still is the dream.
Brady just got the 1,000-mile stare like, yes.
That's been my dream for forever. I wanted a short bus when I was a kid.
My dog
actually
died,
before
though.
that. Oh.
Rest in peace, Lola. That's my dog tattoo. It says love over loss with my little dog paw.
Lola.
R.I.P. Anyway, go on, sorry.
R.I.P. That's really sad.
Drink out to Lola.
Yeah, here we go.
Lola.
So college.
Yeah. So I got a scholarship my senior year to go up to Bozeman, MSU, and it was a pretty decent scholarship, and it's hard to turn down free money in any situation, it's free money. And I didn't know what I wanted to do. And so I thought, you know what, maybe I'll give it a try. I'll go to college,
Bozeman's a hip town. It's cool.
Bozeman's great. And I have family up there, which was really cool. And, I mean, the outdoors are
surrounded by
amazing.
mountains.
Exactly. I love that. Yeah. So I was really, really excited to go there. So I went up there, stayed for a week, went to class, and it was okay. I didn't hate it a whole lot. I had a cool roommate that I still talk to every day.
Girl or a boy?
It was a boy. His name's Nate. It's Nate the roommate.
Shout out Nate the roommate.
Shout out Nate the roommate.
I thought I was checking in because I was like, I bet I know why he left. I still talk to her every day. We're still cool.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Dropped out of college though.
Oh man. Yeah. So I went for a week, and I was planning on driving back just about every weekend because I had gigs every weekend just about.
Gigs. Explain that a little bit more.
Oh yeah. So I play music. So music is my whole thing. It's everything that I do for the most part relates to music in some way.
And I'm gonna keep interrupting you here because it's what I do.
Cool.
How much time on an average day do you put into music?
48 hours.
Exactly. Yeah.
27.3 hours.
Right.
No, for real. How much time do you put in to music a day? And how long have you been doing this? Because your dad also owns a woodworking company and does really good wood flooring cabins, and is a world class wood floor guy here in Wyoming. Everybody knows him, and you work for your dad too. But
I do.
Even when you're doing that, how much time of your life and your childhood have you put into music?
Oh man. So on the average day, between listening and practicing and learning and playing and meetings that relate to gigs and setting up gigs, and it's almost a full-time job. I say that I don't have a full-time job and I don't get paid for all of it, but a lot of time goes into it. And I wouldn't have it any other way, everything I do, seriously, just about everything.
Well, I'm going to hit the pause button here again. How did you get started in music? And at what age? You're 18 now. How did you get started in music and at what age?
So I took my first guitar lesson when I was 10.
Okay. Never done anything in music before.
No. My parents thought it was a good idea. Yeah. Yeah.
That's their fault.
Yeah. As we get to Dano's the one that's responsible for this.
Yeah. So it's a genetic thing for sure. My mom, she doesn't like me to tell people this, but she followed the Grateful Dead. So yeah, which is.
As did I for a while before again, that's another phase I went through, but
right.
Which again is just, a lot of people talk about the Grateful Dead and it has a counterculture and a drug aspect to it. But when you listen to the Grateful Dead, almost every song they sing is about some aspect of American history, from railroads to slavery to to you name it, Civil War, you name it, and it's all in a positive light to Wild West gunfighter. Long story short, it's a positive community, one of the most positive to this day that I've ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah.
Which, you know, is kind of like what Brady's created with Go Fast Don't Die, a very positive. You go to a Grateful Dead show, and you know you might be sitting next to somebody who's a millionaire or billionaire on one side, and then you might be sitting next to somebody who makes $8 an hour and works in an outdoor shop six hours a day and climbs mountains. You know, mountain climbs the other time of the day. But anyway, so I'm interrupting you here so people can get a good look at you. So your mom obviously has a love of music.
Right, yeah. My mom never played it. She actually moved out of her house when she was 16 and followed the Grateful Dead sometime after that. I don't know. And my dad, he grew up in the Deep South in Atlanta, Georgia. His dad was a preacher. He grew up in the church. Everything that he did was through the church, school, everything, absolutely everything. They lived in a house that the church owned, and yeah, so it was kind of an interesting religion, and he wasn't allowed to play sports as a kid, so he played music instead, and so he grew up loving music. So then it's just music from both sides of the family there, so it was genetic.
Sorry,
for sure.
I'm being rude here.
It's fine.
Puppy was chewing on a bone. Little Jane Whipwheeler is here. She was chewing on a bone. So, Dad grew up in a super religious family in the South, and your mom followed the Grateful Dead.
Yeah. So
those
music.
paths merged. There's obviously a lot of music in southern churches, and it's you know it's so you got this this kind of perfect dynamic and perfect confluence of culture, art, music.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And actually my first memory, I mean, is if I think back as far as I can go, is I grew up in the middle of nowhere, out past Wyoming, way out of town, on a little ranch. And my first memory is driving to town in the backseat of my mom's car, listening to Billy Joel. So that's the first memory that I have, as far back as I can go. So, yeah, so going back to guitar lessons when I was 10, my parents traded work for a day to buy me a guitar. They worked on some guy's lawn for a day, and he said, "Here's this guitar."
You still have the guitar, obviously? No. You don't?
I don't.
Where's the guitar?
He had to trade it for a nicer guitar.
I was just gonna say that. Seriously, no, that's how it goes. It just guitar to guitar to guitar. Yeah. So that was that. Took a few lessons. And the guy who gave me lessons cut my fingernails too short every single time, and I got ingrown fingernails, and it was gross. And my mom was like, "No more of that, no more." And
was this lessons here in town?
Yeah.
To the shop that you took me to buy.
Mm-mm.
Okay, different shop, different
shop.
Okay.
Yeah, different shop.
Okay.
Yeah, and then so kind of fast forward, my parents had a good buddy who played music, and he taught me like Stairway to Heaven and stuff, and Simple Man and Sweet Home Alabama, and that was pretty much it. And then when I was 12, I started going to the Edwards Hotel, which has Q-Man Music and 2-Bit Pawn.
To put it in perspective, this is on Main Street. For those who have not been to Sheridan, Wyoming, don't know the area, this building is probably built in the 30s or 40s, is on Main Street, Sheridan, Wyoming. It sits right next to a Dairy Queen, which looks like a 60s Dairy Queen, right smack on the edge of the creek, right smack on Main Street in a cow town, Sheridan, Wyoming, and it's an old pawn shop.
It is as old school as it gets.
You
We go in there.
too.
Cody teaches boxing out of there.
Out of the back.
I'm about to get to that.
Yeah,
I'm about to get to that.
I'm painting a picture of you guys of literally small town. Like this is, I know in my mind, I don't know shit about anything in the world, but I know Dugan is going to touch a lot of people millions of people with his music and his hands. But no, on a serious note, Dugan is going to touch a lot of people with his music moving forward. I can just feel it. And to paint this picture of somebody who has no ego, who grew up in a town like this, who learned how to play guitar his first time at 10 years old, he's self-taught. And this picture this Q-Man music, and you could probably Google it. We can get a picture and throw it up when we air this on YouTube. But Q-Man music is, again, it doesn't get more, man, unless you're in the Mississippi Delta or somewhere like that. It just has that feel of music. You walk in, it's an old pawn shop, and they sell belt buckles from the 70s and coins and this and that. But you look around, and the whole place is just music. Sorry.
No, that's a good way to describe it for sure. But I actually started going in there when I was 12 for boxing lessons from Cody Quarterman, who's now 71 years old. So he was, I don't know, however long, in his mid-60s, started giving me boxing lessons. And when I first started going in there, it was, hey, Mr. Cody, we hit the bag for a bit. See you later, Mr. Cody. Thank you. And I'd leave. But every time I left, I'd walking away from the heavy bag, there was always this guitar set up. This is a black guitar, a black Martin guitar, really nice. And I asked him about it one day. I was a really nervous kid and had no social skills, so it was just like, seriously, that was it.
Not much has changed.
Right, exactly. So I eventually got the courage to ask him about it, and he says, "Yeah, this is my Johnny Cash guitar. It's a Johnny Cash edition Martin guitar, signed by Johnny Cash and C.F. Martin the Fourth."
I'm Johnny Cash.
Yeah. Oh man, you should get Cody in here to say that. He does a good job.
We have to get all you guys in here to jam sometime.
Yeah.
That's a whole other story.
Oh yeah. So I saw that guitar. I asked him about it, and he played it for me. And then from that point on, every time I went in there, he'd be set up with his little stomp box and his Johnny Cash guitar and harmonica, and he'd just be playing music when I walked in. It was theme music every time. It's Johnny Cash all the time. And he started inviting me to his shows. He plays out at a dude ranch every Thursday night in the summer. And I started going out to those and listening.
What dude ranch?
The HF bar.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I brought my own guitar out there after I hadn't touched it in a long time. I had no idea how to play. And I would watch him and his brother, so Cody and John.
So you're 12, 13 years old at this time?
Yeah.
You act, and the reason you act like it's 35 years ago.
Well, it feels like
I'm putting this in perspective, so this was 5 years ago. 5-6 years ago. That's not that long ago. But
no. It feels like forever
for
ago.
you to say I was going out there and I didn't know what I was doing, I didn't know how to play guitar, to where we're going with this, I just want people to get a perspective of what's happening here.
Yeah, so I guess pretty fast in the scheme of things, going from there to here. But I started bringing my guitar and picking along, trying to just watching them and playing the same chords as them, and then picking the same and everything. And after a while, they let me get up on stage. They took a break, and said, "Hey, we're going to have a special guest, Doogie, up here." Cody calls me Doogie. And I got up there and sang some song about Peter Pan, and it was really super embarrassing, and I did a terrible job.
How nervous were you?
About as nervous as I am right now.
Well, that's
On a
because
scale from 1 to
Brady's
10.
sitting on a milk crate because he couldn't be the same height as us. Dugan was taller than him. So Brady got a milk crate, and he's sitting about 6 inches above us, staring down at us.
It's not really about that. It's just more comfortable.
I can imagine.
It puts like a cool diamond pattern on my butt when I'm done, and then
We'll have to show the audience that when we're after you got a nice waffle pattern on your butt.
Yeah. I'm working on it pretty hard right now.
Yeah.
I'll start pulling down here.
Oh yeah. So where was I? Yeah.
You were nervous.
I was
You're nervous.
nervous. I was
Scale
so
from
nervous.
1 to 10
Peter Pan
is a
song?
poop.
Yes, exactly. Seriously, I had to wear my brown pants that day. I was prepared.
Poopared.
Yeah, I was prepared.
Prepare yourself.
Yeah, and nobody listened to me. All of the people there were like, "Oh, it's not the dance music. We're gonna go get another beer." So nobody listened except Cody. I was listening. You were there.
Yeah, I was.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah.
That's great. I loved you since the first time I saw you.
You're gonna make me cry.
Don't cry.
No, I'm not gonna. Yeah. And Cody was there, and he cheered me on and patted me on the back and everything, and so we kind of started playing together after that. And we had a little group. It was the Man in Black and the Kid, and we even got a photo shoot taken of us. I was just little, and we played like one gig, and that was it. And yeah, so that's how that started. That's kind of how I got into music. I credit it all to Cody Quarterman. Yeah.
And I met Cody. You had actually walked down there and met me there to get to buy a guitar. I couldn't play guitar to save. If you put a gun to my head, I wouldn't be able to play anything. You know, I know 3 chords that you taught me. We haven't picked up on the lessons because, you know, I've been preoccupied with other stuff.
Wait, you got a lesson?
I got one lesson.
Just one.
Guess how many I got?
I exchanged a bag of coffee for
a bag of coffee
for a lesson.
I offered my whole life. I offered on a contract.
And you haven't got any lessons
He
yet?
did.
I
He
got
did, but he's
nothing.
been out of town.
No, I didn't get a lesson.
Brady sends me multiple messages every day. Guitar lessons when I get back into town?
Okay,
Question mark.
I'm
3
trying
weeks
He's
later.
never in town.
Yeah.
He's never in town.
Come on.
Yeah.
So you met me there.
Yeah.
You helped me pick out a guitar.
Right.
And not a fancy guitar. Again, I'm horrible. You know, someday I will take the time to do this, but I haven't. Again, if you hold a gun to my head, I could not play anything.
Horrible is relative. You're new.
I'm new and horrible.
Yeah.
Also,
No,
how
no.
nervous would you be if somebody's holding a gun to your head?
I don't know if I
Probably
can play
nobody
guitar
could play
either.
any, yeah.
Right.
We'll try it later.
What you need to do is go up to the crossroads, sell your freaking soul.
And that's it.
Wow, it sounds so cool on these microphones.
Doesn't
I can't
it?
get
Like
over
your
how
hair?
cool these microphones are.
Yeah, and you took me to get a guitar, and while you were there, Cody was there, and a couple other guys were there.
Yeah.
And you guys were messing around with the guitar that I bought, and that led to about not much more than 20, 30 minutes, but you guys just, man, it transformed my brain to a whole nother world. And I was having a pretty bad week that week, but you guys just started jamming, just started playing and singing, and it was one of the coolest music experiences that I've ever seen. And I'm not a big music guy, but like it literally, I got goosebumps right now talking about it because you guys just started jamming in that pawn shop on Main Street in this little town, Sheridan, Wyoming, and I was in a whole nother world. So Cody got you hooked up, taught you how to play, and then you took it from there. Just, this is where I go back to asking you time. You know, because that was not that long ago. So over the last 5-6 years, you've transformed yourself into what you become one of my favorite musicians, and that again, you've done it in 5 years. My brain and my body doesn't work that way. So this is super interesting to me.
Right.
Now I'm going to go back to college.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
You're going back to college?
No, nobody. I went back to college when I was 35 after I got out of the Army, and actually did pretty well because I cared about the world and wanted to learn stuff at that point. But so now you're back in college. You're sitting in Bozeman, one of the prettiest towns in the United States of America, one of the coolest college towns in the United States of America, and you're at college on a scholarship. What's going through your head?
I didn't hate it. You know, it wasn't that bad.
You had
And-
even already had gigs, like you were going to play
This-
gigs up there. You were going
Right.
to go ahead, Brady, jump
Yeah.
in.
This is what happened. I was like, "Hey, man, I'm ready to be in the band." And he's like, I was like, "I'm back in town," right? He says, "I was never in town." I said, "I'm back in town." He said, "I just moved to Bozeman to go to college." And I was like, "My dream is over."
This part of his story
Out of the
is
band
true.
before it's even
This is
started.
a true story.
This is actually
This
a
is
true
actually
story.
true.
And then a week later, he's like, I hear that he dropped out of college and moved back. And I'm like, this was for me.
Well, and he came in the coffee shop.
So that is the defining moment
Go ahead.
right there. Yeah. So I came back that Thursday night because I had
If you
online
make this
classes
so
on
it's
Friday.
you didn't come back for me, I'm going to cry.
Yeah, I can see it in his eyes. He's
So a
already
small
about to
part
cry.
of it was I came back for Brady, but the other parts were because I had gigs.
I'll take that.
Okay, all right, yeah. I had gigs, so I came back that Thursday night, surprised my mom, and after like not seeing her for 6 days, she freaked out and cried.
Well, that's a
and
long
was
time.
so
You haven't
happy.
been gone for that. Like, I mean, you normally don't just leave for 6 days. Like, you guys are a tight family. Like,
Right.
His
so-
guitar case says, "I heart my mom."
It does.
It literally
On
does
two
say on two different
spots.
stickers that say "I heart my mom" on your guitar case.
You know my fight name when I did MMA was Brady loves his mom, McLean.
No way.
I
Yeah.
love it.
I love my mom too, bro.
That's awesome.
Freaking moms, dude.
Freaking moms. My mom is great. My mom is really great.
His mom is great.
She is great.
And your parents are awesome.
Yeah. Oh man, my dad is totally awesome. I was just
Dad is
helping
also
him
awesome.
before this. Yeah.
So you come back in town Thursday night,
Right.
hang out with your family, see people in town. You're geared up for gigs.
Mm-hmm.
At what point did you go, man, I love music more than I love the idea of going to college and getting a degree?
Friday at about 5:00, here upstairs in Bison Union. I came in here, and I tell everybody, I have meetings here all the time, and I tell everybody,
It's your office,
let's
man.
just go to my office.
tell
Yeah,
everybody
we'll
in
just
town.
meet at my office. I tell everybody that. And so I got to Bison that day at probably noon, and I stayed there the whole day. I mean, I tried to fill out one whole punch card, and I got to the point where my hands were shaking, and I actually paced around the big table in there
When
for
you came
about
and
an
talked
hour.
to me, and I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know
Right.
I didn't know any of this had happened.
Yeah.
So
So it was that whole day I was supposed to be doing homework. I went there to do my online classes, and instead I got wrapped up in phone calls, all relating to music. For 5 hours I made phone calls that were relating to music, calls to Nashville because we're going there in January to record. That was the beginning of that. Set up a few gigs, talked to a lot of people that are super inspirational to me. It's just 5 hours of music upstairs in Bison Union. And at the end of that, when I got kicked out at 5 o'clock, not kicked out. I was, when I left at 5 o'clock.
I'll give you a key.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be awesome. When I left there at 5 o'clock, I thought, you know what? What am I doing? I'm seriously 5 hours of talking about music, and it kind of, my brain just exploded.
Oh no.
Seriously, it was just, doors were open.
Like figuratively.
Yes, figuratively. Yeah, it's still intact.
Good.
Yeah. And I realized that I knew what I wanted to do. What was I going to do with a business degree? Well, that's 4 years of my life spent in another town wasted, just down the drain.
This is what you were thinking in your head.
Exactly. And not necessarily wasted, because I'm sure I could be successful with a business degree, but I wouldn't be happy doing it.
Right.
That's
a hard thing right there, that moment. Brady's been there. I've been there. You have an opportunity, and you have to make a decision. That one path is laid out in front of you, and I will say at this point, it's the easier path.
Yeah.
And it's a guaranteed. It's not 100% guaranteed. Anything could happen tomorrow. But it's a guaranteed path. It's a simpler path. I'm going to punch the numbers. I'm going to hit my timelines. I'm going to do what I should be doing by the standard, and I'm going to move into the world. Brady, you've been there. I know at some point you've probably been there. And then you go, wait a minute, I have another path over here that's going to be a lot harder. That's going to be more uncertain. It's going to be scary. There's not, for sure, there's not money involved. There's no scholarship involved. There's no nothing involved. There is you taking the chance to buy a vehicle, take your guitars and your show on the road, and go record record an album that might be horrible. I know it's not going to be.
But it could be.
It could be.
Right, absolutely.
Brady, you've been there. This is a big deal, and I think a lot of people will find this out later on in life, but to figure it out at 18 years old, because here's the deal. College, I went back to college at 35 years old in the pre-med program at a good college, and I did pretty good. 3.6 GPA. I liked school. I went every day, but I liked learning. I didn't care about school, college, parties, girls, nothing. I went back as a 35-year-old married guy that literally went to class, and then I went to work at the Fort Worth Zoo after that. And Brady, have you been in that position before? You have to make a decision where there's an easy path and there's a harder path, but the reward on the harder path is happiness.
Oh yeah. I dropped out of college too, and I think it just comes down to who are you doing it for? When you ask yourself, that is a direct question to you, Dugan, for college, who are you doing that for?
The real answer to that question would be not me.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
So, anybody who fulfills that question, but the trouble there and the scary part and the really hard part for us is the real answer to that question is usually my grandma, my mom, my dad,
girlfriend, boyfriend, spouse.
Some of the closest people to us, we don't want to disappoint them.
Exactly.
So we'll give them our time, right?
Right.
And then what that builds is resentment toward them. So it actually, you think you're serving that relationship with that person, you're not. And I had the same thing. My grandpa wanted me to go to the University of Wyoming and become an engineer.
You were going to drive a train?
Yeah, I was going to be a train driver. That's what I said. I was like, I don't know.
Oh, an engineer, like numbers, graphs, drawings.
I
like
don't know, man.
Okay.
I never did it. I don't know. I just know the word. That's what he said he wanted me to do. I mean, my grandpa and I, we just went on the Magical Mystery Tour. I don't want to take this over, but we were talking about our proudest moments. So Magical Mystery Tour we do after Devil Stone. It's just the dudes of Go Fast Don't Die, like the little crew, and we go on sometimes it's whoever, but it's our really tight group. And there were 4 of us this time. We were in a hot spring in Idaho, and we were hanging out, and one of us cried. I'm not going to name Brett's name because he'd be embarrassed, but like we talk about this stuff. We were talking about our proudest moments, and one of my proudest moments. It was just like the first one that came to your mind, but
Yeah.
one of my proudest moments was my grandpa. Or after he had a stroke, he never like said he's proud of me. You know what I mean? He didn't talk that way. It wasn't his style. And
Yeah.
he and I butted heads for so long because I was like punk rock and music. I mean, I played music. I grew up in that same pawn shop, playing music in that same pawn shop. 10 years earlier.
We need to go do a podcast, or at least we need to go there at some point and have you guys all jam and be in that place so people in the world can see it. If those guys want it. Maybe they don't want anybody to see it, but I have a feeling they probably would.
They do.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Anyway,
so you grew up in that pawn shop.
You just go back and like fast forward through my story is my grandpa ended up telling me like, man, I'm really proud of you. I love you. And literally you could have killed me then at that moment.
That was it. Big deal.
Oh, dude, so much. This is a secret. I've never told anybody this, but the first graphic designer that we hired, like really hired at Flood, which is now only, but at the agency was a graduate from UW, and I didn't want to hire him, but the fact that he had graduated from the college that my grandpa wanted me to go to, I was like, okay, this is a huge win for me. I'm gonna hire a guy who took the kind of took the path.
Right.
And it was all ego, it was all like me battling my grandpa. But it's interesting the core, the deep down of why we do what we do, and how much that impacts. So for you to look at your life and go, this isn't for me, and choose against it early, dude, it's freaking.
It's a big deal.
Actually,
and to figure it out at 18, and I know you're not the only 18-year-old or senior in high school that graduates and does that, but. So Brady just tore off a piece of paper and handed it to Dugan. Can he read that?
Do you want me to read it?
Yeah. Do you care if he reads it?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Just handed a piece of paper. Brady's carries a journal with him everywhere he goes. He doodles. He draws. He puts artwork in there. It's a bit of a Bible for him. He walks around with this all the time and writes. That's not a religious connotation, but it's Brady's Bible that he carries around with him.
Very flawed Bible.
It says, I wish that I knew what I know now when I was younger. And then a heart.
If you sing it, because it is a song, right?
Wish that I knew what I knew now.
When I was younger.
What am I even here for? You guys are killing it.
It was funny. I didn't write that for you. I totally just wrote. I
wrote that a long time ago.
I wrote that a long time ago.
It's in there.
But it literally is on the page like that I opened this up to.
Well, and it's funny that you just pulled something out of your personal diary journal, whatever you would call that, and handed to him. So Dugan quits college. I finally find out that he quits college because he's been coming into the shop talking to me, and I just talk about his life. We don't talk about politics or anything. Mm-hmm. We just talk about life, and I often say it to Dugan because I look back at how stupid I was at 18 years. I mean, I was dumb. I had an ego. I was insecure, which I think we've talked about. It go hand in hand. I was a horrible person. I wasn't nice. I was just not happy. 18, 20, 25, 30, whatever. But to figure that out at 18, so I tell Dugan all the time how proud of him I am. I watch him play, and I'm getting goosebumps again. But to figure that out at 18, ooh, man, if more people can figure out the path at 18, and I'm not saying kids have to, take time off, do whatever you want, but the fact that you figured that out, and then you came back in, and Dugan pulls me out of the coffee shop one day, I'm roasting and stuff. He's like, hey, do you have a minute? And pulls me outside and hands me a book. And I didn't bring it in here. What book is it?
Rules for a Night.
Rules for a Night.
Yeah.
Like a K night.
Like K and
like
I GHT night.
Yeah,
and it's written by Ewan McGregor.
Not like
Ethan
a
Hawke.
one,
I'm sorry, Ethan
Ethan
Hawke.
Hawke.
not a one night,
Sorry,
not one night stand kind of.
No.
I always mess
No.
those two guys up. But I've read it. It's a fast read, but I've read it 50 times now. It sits on the dashboard of my truck. And there's times where I'm driving through the mountains here and I'll just stop. And it literally talks, it's basically taken from a bunch of knights in Europe, obviously in the UK, and it's kind of their adages, them talking to their fathers or them talking to other knights, or and Ethan Hawke put together all these stories. One of the coolest, and again, I don't do the UK US colonial blah blah blah, we beat the British thing, because our countries are hand in hand, and they will be until the day we die. If we ever get in trouble, they're going to be right next to us. If they ever get in trouble, we're going to be right next to them. But this book, if you haven't read it, if you don't have it, say it again.
It's the Rules for a Night.
Rules
A
for a
Knight's
Night
Tale.
by Ethan Hawke. And it's just, man, it's a simple read. It's a small book, and it's simple and it's fast. You could probably read the whole thing in an hour at a coffee shop or at your house or wherever. But man, it's very powerful. Like, everything in it is super powerful. But to have an 18-year-old kid, and I call you a kid because I'm 44, and to me, you're still a kid.
I am.
But you're
I'm
an old
totally
soul.
a kid.
But
Me
you're an
too.
old soul, and I think people listening are going to hear that here in a while, just how old of a soul you are. But to have somebody like that that's so wise upon their years, ahead of themselves, and hands me a book outside a coffee shop at a time in my life that he doesn't know he knows enough of my personal story and what's going on in my life right now. But man, I just think I wish more kids would listen to this podcast and watch you and take that example and go, hey, you don't have to fit the norm. You don't have to fit into the square peg or the round hole because that's what fits. And don't do things in this world to please other people unless that really is what you want to do, is be a people pleaser, which is good to a point, but don't do it if it's going to cost you a path that you take that would change your life and make you happy for the rest of your life, or happier. I can't stress that enough. And this isn't just for kids that are 18. Brady and I have, we're going through the same transition in life, not entirely the same, but we talked about it on the first podcast. I'm at a point in my life where I will not be a people pleaser anymore. I will please the people in my life that I love, but I'm not going to go out of my way to try and please people that don't. You said it to me. Brady texted me the other day. I was having a bad day, and he said, Bert, put 0% effort or 0% energy into things you can't control. And, that's it for me. And this is something having Dugan on the show. Dugan can control his future, and at 18 years old, he can control his future, and he just did it by making the first choice. And I'm not one of those guys that tells everybody college is stupid. Don't go to college. You don't need a degree or a diploma from anywhere to make you a valid. That's not true. Doctors, lawyers, professionals, some people love school. They love college. They want to take a 9-to-5 job and make $100,000 a year as an engineer, a designer, an architect, whatever it is. So the path of college is for some people. But if it's not for you, sit back and go, man, what do I really want to do in life? Do I want to open a coffee truck? We had a 16-year-old girl that worked for us who's already got her high school degree and a college degree. And I asked her upstairs a few months ago before she moved on and got a better job at a local bank, making a lot more money. And I was super happy for her. And I said, what do you want to do? And she's like, well, I want to work at the bank, save up enough money, and I want to open up my own coffee cart and go to events around Wyoming. And I'm like, literally my heart, it was like somebody punched me right in a good punch in the arm. Like this is what kids should be doing. They shouldn't just be doing what their grandparents and their parents did and what everybody else has done in this country.
That message is not just for 18-year-olds.
No,
either.
it's for everybody.
Your life is your choice. And a lot of us, I think, we get so far into, that message is for 18-year-olds. That message is for 31-year-olds. That message is for 44-year-olds, 55-year-olds, 60. Your life right now, if you're not doing what you should be doing, you should be making changes to that. There's no too late. Hey, Dugan, I'm glad you're getting your life together because I screwed mine up. That's a horrible way of thinking. Like, I'm already on the train. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All of us, your life is your choice. And I think it's wild because what we do is, we go to college and we trade our time and our money for a job that'll pay us more money, that we give our time to for more money. We save.
And a lot of people do that with the debt of a college loan and the burden they'll carry for 15 to 50 years.
And we give our time for money to pay back that money. And then later on, we try to save up enough money so we can buy more time. That's like you know what I mean? That's what we do. And so to claim your time right now, not just right now for you is you're 18 and you said no to college. Right now for you is you're 44 and you say, I'm not going to be a people pleaser anymore. You know, like
I'm going to please the right people.
Yeah, but you're going to please the right people. It's still not the same thing. Like
right.
You're saying I'll please the right people because I'm going to be me, and the right people will be pleased by that. Not that you're going to not be you. You know what I mean?
No, I absolutely know. And you always say everything. If you just followed me around all day, you voice everything. I'm not good at getting it out, but you said it perfectly. Like that's exactly it. I'm going to be me,
right? And
the people that I please are going to find me.
Yeah.
And they're going to be the right people. And that's already happening. You're seeing it. You see it. I see it every day. Somebody comes up to me and goes, hey, I don't really know you that well, but I just want to tell you the last 6 months, I've seen a big change in you. One of my employees that's been with us for 2 years said that to me. And she's not the kind of person that says those things. And she said, hey, man, you're a lot happier now. You're different. You're nicer. You're more decent. You're more kind. Everything you do every day is to help other people. Like, she's not somebody that normally says that stuff. And she said, I've seen a change.
Notice that it starts with you.
Yeah,
you know?
It does.
So,
absolutely.
So like everything the feedback you're given is that everything you would do every day is to help others. But right now, like your chapter is everything you're doing right now is to help you.
Absolutely.
And now you're getting feedback that you're helping others. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
It's that whole fill your cup up and let others benefit from the overflow from the last.
Well, and it's a quote that, I say all the time now, and I say it to other people, and I don't want people to read it the wrong way or misconstrue it, but charity begins at home. Like you have to start taking care of yourself first. And we talked about this, being happy and making other people happy. So, and you just didn't say, F it, I don't like college. I'm in like a lazy kid that said, hey, I don't want to go to college.
Better not have. Wash that mouth out with soap.
Yes. Go ahead.
I have a story about that, actually. Those 2 words you just said.
He said a bunch of words.
Can I tell a little story?
You
here?
This is you. We're here for you.
This is your show, dude.
This is your show.
Be the bison, bro.
Be the yeah. So you said F it, right?
Yeah.
So this isn't something that I tell everybody.
Ooh, spicy.
You guys are dumping all your secrets today.
This is kind of a secret. I've told a few people that have needed to hear it. The few people that I have told are people that have needed to hear it.
Well, now the millions listening around the world.
Right, yeah. So, this is, I don't know. I think it's cool. I'll tell the story on it first, and then I'll get back to it. So my freshman year of high school, it was like 2 months in. The band, I was in the band. I was the drummer in the band. I was also president of the band.
President of the band.
Yeah. So
El presidente de bandera.
That's a T-shirt right there. President of the band.
I know. I really want it. That'd be awesome. That's actually a good idea. Yeah. So it was like 2 months into high school, my freshman year. The band took a trip to Laramie. We played with a bunch of other schools. This is Band Day is what it's called.
Laramie, Idaho.
Wyoming.
Okay. Wyoming. Sorry. Go ahead.
Yes.
Laramie.
Lure me wide opening.
Yeah.
The base of the snowy range.
Yeah. I just drove over that a couple weeks ago, and it was really, really gorgeous.
Band takes a trip, Laramie, Wyoming.
Band Day. So it's a whole bunch of schools get together and play the halftime show at UW.
He has to pee.
Oh,
and
man.
all he has is a 20-ounce Mountain Dew bottle. And he says, I got to pee. So he starts peeing. He goes, finally, I'm so glad I peed in this Mountain Dew bottle. But then he's about 17 ounces, and he realizes he's only about 50% of the way done. And there's no cutting it off.
No.
There's no stopping it once that thing's already going. You are a freaking uncorked unit at that point.
Aren't you glad you started your story?
So he pees
Between
all
us
over his pants, all over the ground, and everybody sees him.
Yeah.
That's actually my band.
That's
story.
how you got the nickname
way.
P Kid?
That's a real thing?
That's
No.
on a band trip, dude.
No.
It's the worst. Sorry, go on. Yes, I peed all over myself.
Oh, man.
I also
Kid.
wet the bed till the 7th grade, just so everybody knows. I got no secrets from you people. Go on.
Oh, wow. Okay. My story is not as funny as that one. Yeah, so play the halftime show at a UW football game.
Yeah.
Whole bunch of schools and stuff, and we stayed in Cheyenne. And the hotel we stayed at was the cheapest of the cheap hotels that you can stay in Cheyenne. And it was right next to...
I apologize. Anytime somebody says Cheyenne ever, all I hear is Chick-fil-A.
Yeah,
So
we went there.
continue.
We went there.
So you're...
We went there. Chick-fil-A is, drives my life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've been to the original one in Atlanta. It's pretty cool. Ate at Chick-fil-A, stayed at this hotel.
Wait.
Wait.
What did you have?
Oh, the number one, of course. I had like 4 of them.
4 number ones?
Yeah. Do you know what the number one is?
The Chick-fil-A sandwich?
Chick-fil-A
Just
sandwich,
Chick-fil-A
medium
standard,
fries,
Yeah.
standard drink.
Waffle
I always
fries.
get the
It's got
grilled.
pickles.
I get the
You
grilled.
get the grilled? Oh, who goes
You
to
can't-
Chick-fil-A and
you
gets a
can't.
grilled
No,
sandwich?
I get
That's like
I-
going to Taco
no,
Bell and
seriously.
You didn't listen to me.
Jack
Sacrilegious.
in the Box and getting tacos.
You didn't listen to me. I obviously get the standard Chick-fil-A number one. I also get the grilled nuggets.
Oh, those
they're
are
grilled
actually
nuggets.
good.
They're
And
not
I
on
get-
the menu, are they?
Huh?
Are they on the menu, or is that like?
I don't know.
So well, it's not a secret anymore.
But anyway. Dude, why don't you tell your story?
Yeah,
What are you
finish
doing?
your
All right.
story.
You quit
All
losing
right, sorry, I just get so sidetracked. Yeah, so we're staying at this hotel, and me and the 3 other dudes I had to share a room with, we were just totally rowdy, and we were all like, we just played halftime at a UW football game, and it was so cool. And we had like a big pillow war in the room, and we busted the lights, and it was really
my
terrible,
gosh.
and we were just little heathens, and it was
Just
awful.
so cute. Like a
And-
pillow fight?
Yeah, like a pillow fight, but like really aggressive, like full-on war,
Is that-
with a pillow fight.
Pillow
Like a
war.
man pillow
It
fight.
was a manly pillow fight.
We
Yes,
didn't have
as
a
little
pillow
15-year-old boys. Yeah. And a buddy of mine, we look out the window, and the train tracks are running right next to our hotel.
Right.
And, oh, man, so we went, that looks like fun. And it was a little after midnight, so almost 1 in the morning. Me and 2 other dudes left the hotel on this band trip, which it was terrible. It's really
This is
terrible.
against the rules. I'm taking.
It's against the law. Yeah, it's
Chaperones
against
are
the rules.
racked out.
Yeah. Yep.
You guys are out after curfew.
Big
in
time.
Cheyenne.
Big time no. In a weird part of town because it was the cheapest of the cheap. And so we go to the train tracks and we just walk all the way down, and when we find this humongous billboard, and I go, man, I bet I could climb that. And so I climbed up this huge billboard. I hope I don't get in trouble for saying this.
You're out of high school and you're a legal adult now. You're 18 years old. You can't.
Yeah,
get
so
in
you can
trouble.
officially go to jail for this.
I don't
Yes.
know if that's true, but yeah.
Well, I hope so.
Don't
Yeah.
ask Bertie. He has no idea.
Right. There's
You could
no-
absolutely get in trouble for this. But the good news is going to be on a podcast, and if you
Right.
do, it's just good
It was
publicity. So just
4
ride
years
the wave,
ago.
bro.
4 years ago. Yeah. So I climbed this billboard. I actually have a picture of it. It's pretty cool. I'm just a little teeny tiny little speck on this humongous billboard. And then we go back to the train yard, which is also right next to the hotel.
Okay, now you're definitely breaking the law.
Yeah, we're jumping on and off moving trains as like 15-year-old kids, right? And it was, I mean, seriously.
Guest today on the podcast is Dugan Irby, the president of the prison band.
Presidente
Yeah.
de prison.
Yeah, so it was, I don't know what we were thinking. It was
This is
just
going to come
stupid.
up if you ever try
Trains
to
are
be.
this is about as a Wyoming as it gets. Like,
Right.
this is a Wyoming story. This could have happened in 1871,
Yeah.
or it could have happened in 1942. It could
Right.
have happened 5
Yeah.
years ago.
Yeah, and so it was really cool. We had a great time just being, heathens. And so jumping off the train at one point, I rolled my ankle and sprained it. And so I was limping around the next day trying not to show my band director that I had a screwed up ankle and stuff. And so we get back to school the next week, and these 2 other dudes are totally bragging about it everywhere. They're like, guess what we just
Made you
did?
nervous, didn't it?
And it did, because it's it's like, shut up, you don't tell. It's fine. We did that for us, not for anybody else.
What
It
happens
doesn't make you look
on
cool.
the band trip stays on the band
Exactly. Well, this one time at band camp, yeah, serious. And so I was in weights class at school the next week, maybe it was 2 weeks later, and the principal comes in and says, "Hey, Dugan, I need to talk to you."
trip. Oh, yeah.
And his name was Ben Smith. Huge dude. I mean, like 6'5" or something. Really big guy.
They
You
called
gotta-
him Ben Smith
called-
Machine.
Yeah, Big Ben.
Big Ben Smith machine.
Big
Yeah.
Ben Smith
Well, I think
Machine.
Wyoming, you have to be over 6'4" to be a principal here,
Yeah,
right?
it is a
Right.
rule, yes.
Yeah.
Or a sheriff.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm taller than the sheriff in town. I'm best friends with this kid.
So Principal Ben Smith comes in, grabs you.
Yeah, calls me in, and he says, all right, I've already talked to your 2 other buddies, so don't even try to lie to me.
Ooh.
Don't even. He's like, I know
Classic
the full story.
cop move.
Yeah.
Right. And
They
so,
already told me everything. So tell me everything. Why do you need to know everything, buddy, if they already told you everything?
Right, exactly. I was a little kid, and my mom chewed me out later for telling him everything. But I told him everything because he's like, "Okay, so what was the first thing you did?" And I was like, "Well, what did they say?" And he's like, "They said you snuck out of the hotel." And I just went, "Yep." And it just went on like that. Like, yep. And he goes, "All right, 2 days suspension out of school."
Yikes.
But that's not a yikes. I was so excited about it because it's like
Yeah,
paid
but you
leave
don't
from
strike
work.
me as a suspended kid. Like you're.
I was.
you don't-
It was unheard of in Bighorn. I was terrible. As the first one.
He was a bad boy.
Yeah, bad to the bone. Got suspended, and when my mom came to pick me up from school that day, she came in and she actually yelled at the principal for a long time and was really mad at him that he was suspending me. But she got me this shirt. Here's where I'm getting to the real story.
Yeah.
She got me this
Finally,
shirt
the
from
real
Walmart.
story.
I know.
Did it say El Presidente?
No. You know what it said?
I don't.
It's a cheap shirt from Walmart. The favorite shirt. My most fativate shirt. Of
Well,
all
we're
time.
talking to two guys that sell T-shirts.
Yeah, and by
man.
the way,
Like,
you're
have some
wearing one of
respect.
them, pal. Come
Jeez,
on.
This is-
Louise.
I'm not going to talk about my sponsorship right now. Sorry, that's unprofessional.
You better not, because it's revoked.
Yeah.
Tell us about
Walmart
your
can
cheap
sponsor you
favorite
now.
shirt.
So this is a Walmart shirt that my mom bought me.
For $7.
Yeah, maybe $6. Super cheap. It was dark blue, navy blue, and on it in big white letters, big bold white letters, it said whatever.
That's it.
Yeah, that was it.
Whatever.
My mom got me that and said, "You know what? I think you need this right now." It just says whatever. And then she told me some other things, called me a dumbass for getting caught and stuff. And then my dad says,
I love that your mom was mad at you that you ratted out people or that you told the story
Right.
and that you got caught.
yeah, she wasn't mad that I did it. She was just mad that I got caught,
Yeah.
And got me the shirt that said whatever. And my dad said, "You know what? I'm not even mad. I used to do the same things when I was a kid." He said, "Boys will be boys." But that shirt.
We were smoking doobies, though, man. Was you smoking doobies?
Right. No, not Dano.
No.
Church.
Dan was at church.
Yeah.
But he
No
was
way.
sneaking out? Hey, sinner's
yeah.
a sinner, man.
Yeah.
Sounds like he fell short of the grace of God. Not the grace of God, the glory. The glory.
I hope he doesn't listen to this.
He
He's
will.
gonna.
He's gonna
He's
listen.
going
Hey,
to.
Dano.
Yeah, we just listened.
Dugan's
to that on
dad
the
comes
road
into the
trip.
coffee shop every day.
You
so
got
we'll
grace,
make sure
buddy.
that-
You're
Yeah.
a freaking cover.
So let's do
He
this.
is amazing.
Let's
So-
do this. So, go ahead.
I'm almost finished. I'm tying it back in. It's just it's the longest tie around thing ever. So the shirt said whatever.
Yep.
So from that point on, I decided to live by that.
Whatever.
Live by whatever. And the whole train thing started because I was really into this girl and she was really interesting and just did epic stuff all the time. I have a sticker on my guitar case that says "Do epic shit." Sorry.
You're good.
S word. And so
mine,
I was
says do epic shits. So every morning I wake up and I'm like, drink some
Yeah.
coffee and I get
should
ready.
write
to
an
do
S on it. Yeah.
Anyway, take the Browns to the Super Bowl.
Yeah. So
Sorry, Mom, for swearing. I didn't mean to do that.
Oh, it's fine. So I was
Whatever.
trying to be cool for this girl. Right, whatever. I was trying to be cool for this girl, because I was the least interesting little kid ever. I didn't do anything. I was not interesting. Social anxiety, didn't talk to anybody, had a hard time talking to girls, it was,
Yeah.
I was a weird little kid, really weird. Not that anything has changed at all. But from that point on, I decided to live by that, by whatever. And so my whole life since then has been that. I have like a movie screen in my head, and on that movie screen is my life. But with potential all the way turned up,
Right.
So my best life is playing in my head all the time. And so I always
almost an aspect of kind of daydreaming.
Right, exactly. Well, yeah. And it's like I have to make a conscious decision to do something that's not as fun or that won't have as good of an outcome as what's going on in my head, or
Right.
I say whatever and just do what's in my head. And in more recent years, it's kind of whatever has evolved into F it.
F it.
I just say that all the time.
F it.
Yeah, F it, and not in a bad way, not like F it, but it's like, F it, I'm going to go for it, I'm going to do what I want to do because I want to do it. And so the whole college thing was, like a metaphor for my life. I could have gone to college, and
On a scholarship.
and I would have been successful, I'd just
There's no doubt in my mind.
live
you
the
would have.
American dream, I'd just go to school, get a job,
That's not
pay
the
the debt
American
off.
Yeah,
Okay.
I was about to hit the time on the pause button on that as well.
Okay, classic American lifestyle.
I will say the American dream that might have used to been the American dream, I
Right.
think, has changed, and it's changing
Okay.
with COVID, with the world, with
Right.
politics, with people evolving with social media.
Yeah.
The American dream has absolutely changed, and I would beg to differ to say your decision to not go to college, and we're going to see you because you're going to pull that guitar out of that case here soon. I would have to say you're living the dream. I watch you play at least one night a week if I can, even if it's for an hour. I stop by and watch you play at the gas station, the Y, the Bighorn Y, which is here in town. These guys play at a gas station when the weather's nice. It's starting to change here, but during the summer months, once a week or so, you guys, once every couple weeks, you play there.
Yeah.
I would have to say that you're living the American dream. Brady is living the American dream. I'm trying. I'm my own worst enemy. I'm living the American dream, but that's a good segue. You really don't have formal music training. When you and Rod sit together, Rod will have you guys both on here at some point, but Rod is the classic music. He reads music. Everything to him is notes. It's music. It's chords. Which it is for you too, but he's a trained musician in the sense that he's trained to be a book musician. How would you word? Am I wording that right? I'm not a musician.
He knows the theory. Rod knows music theory.
Music theory. And
So
he's a
he's
hell of
very
a bass
technical.
guitarist, and he's technical.
Yeah.
You did all of this just by
Watching and listening.
watching and listening and
I don't know
watching
anything
and
about
emulating,
theory.
watching and copying.
Yeah.
And copying in a good way. You
Yeah.
watch somebody play a chord, play a riff, play a guitar. You follow it by watching it.
Right.
Do you? I'm going to put you on the spot. I know you didn't come here with the intention, but do you want to play some music?
Heck yeah.
Let's-
Sure.
Let's do that. Carrick, are we good? Carrick Ford, by the way, is behind me, and Carrick doesn't get enough credit. He's doing all the engineering, the filming, everything for this podcast, and he does it by himself. He does all the Sheridan, the Sheridan travel and tourism stuff as well. But Carrick is the one that pretty much makes this whole podcast rock and roll.
And these are beautiful.
For all 7 of you guys that listen. So you get comfortable, man. And are you going to play something original? Are you going to play? What are you going to play? You mentioned.
Do you need my stool?
You mentioned three songs that you mentioned Stairway to Heaven.
Yeah.
You mentioned Simple Man. And what else did you mention?
Simple Man and Sweet Home Alabama.
Sweet Home Alabama. Can you play just a little bit of that?
Yes,
I just you mentioned them, so I want to hear, because those are that's kind of where you started with jam with playing a guitar like that. So are you comfy?
I'm getting there.
I was talking to Brady.
Oh, okay.
Oh, sí, señor. Qué bueno. Gracias. Ooh, this is so exciting.
Turn that mic. Yeah, there you go.
I'll turn my mic too.
Is that fine? Is that good? Can you hear that?
Brady, if you want to put yours down just a bit, get the guitar, and I'll get the. There you go. That one's for your mouth.
Yeah.
This
Oh,
one's
wow.
for your.
Cool. I'll just sit up like I'm all classical and everything. Stairway to Heaven is the first one I learned.
Yeah. And this is with no sheet music or anything. This is just you listening and playing.
I'm trying to hear the guitar. Yeah. This is the first one. Yeah. I haven't played that in so long. That's against the rules.
Yeah.
A stairway to heaven. Is that the word?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Stairway to.
Simple Man.
Mama told me I was young.
Yeah. So there's that. Yeah. And then. You gonna sing it? This is your band audition right now.
Sweet Home Alabama.
Yeah. So those are those.
Cool.
That I haven't played in
and I just
forever.
wanted you to play because you mentioned them. So
Yeah.
you know, it's fun, but it's fascinating to me because you've tried to teach me guitar, and you know, hopefully someday we will.
I don't want to be the singer, Dugan.
Oh,
I
you
wanna,
don't have a
no.
microphone.
I
I'm sorry.
want to be the.
Spoon player.
No, I want to
Tambourine
freaking
player.
jam. No, I want to jam. I want to be the stage
Triangle.
presence guy.
You're just gonna. That's okay.
You know what I'm saying?
You're just gonna dance.
Well, dance,
and
but I
yell?
need to play a little bit of
Woo,
guitar. Otherwise,
woo,
nobody
woo.
gives me any respect.
Okay. All right. Yeah, you got to do the full-on rocker
Yeah,
stance and everything. Yeah.
I'm telling you, that's what I do well.
Let's see your best solo face.
I know I'm not playing solos. I'm a rhythm guy.
Well, okay. Well, you have to. If you're gonna be the presence, you have to have a good
Check
solo
this out.
face. All right. Let's see it.
Oh man, here we go. It's about to go.
Holy crap. Huh? How low can you go?
Right there.
I like it.
Okay.
I like
Alright,
it.
Is that the face?
I like
Is that
it.
The face?
Check
What's
this
the
out.
face?
Check this out.
I like it.
I'm playing
What's the face?
all the way on the ground, just freaking jamming here. Can you do this?
I can do that.
You
No,
can
I
do
don't
that?
know. I don't know. That's why we need you.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Need me. That's all I needed to hear. You need me. I accept.
So
Okay. All right.
so
a deal.
you're learning all this just kind of on your own.
Yeah.
Just playing around with a guitar, rock and roll, and just playing.
Right. Yeah. I just started playing as much as I could all the time with as many people as I could, and yeah.
But what we really need to hear,
Yes.
ladies and gentlemen, is that sweet, angelic Dugan Irby voice.
Yeah. So do you want to play one of your original songs? Do you mind
Yeah.
playing an original song?
No.
You
no,
just
it's all
go.
good.
We're not gonna rep you. We're gonna let you just rock and roll.
Can I
what-
steal
what
that
is-
microphone back from you real quick?
What is this song called?
This song is called Sweetwater Rim. I wrote this song originally about my dad.
Okay.
Moving from Atlanta, Georgia to Wyoming. He moved up here to work on dude ranches, which is super cool. So this song is really about him leaving his old life behind, and I wrote it, and I tried to fit that, everything. And he wound up near a town where right outside of this town there's a place called the Sweetwater Rim. And I don't know if you know Louis L'Amour.
Yes, absolutely.
My dad read all of his books as a kid, and that's why he came out to Wyoming. And he has a book called Under the Sweetwater Rim. And so that's where the name came from, is my dad ended up near there. And his inspiration to move out here was because of those books. So this is what this song is about.
Sweetwater Rim.
Yeah.
Under the Sweetwater Rim, everything's better. Down where it's wetter. Is that it?
Yeah, no, it's actually really close.
I've heard it.
You've heard it. I'm going to move over like this so I can get it on my leg. There we go. This is good. Does this look awkward at all? It does?
You look
It
like
looks
$1 million
awkward.
bucks. You look great.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. Standing in the shadow of the mountains, emotions on my sleeve. The tears roll down as I beg you not to leave. A waterfall of memories come flooding down, filling my eyes to the brim. So watch you drift away along the Sweetwater Rim. Sweetwater Rim, oh, Sweetwater Rim. Please, cold river, come and heal my heart. Sweetwater Rim, oh, Sweetwater Rim. Help me find a way to give love a brand new start.
Whistles, ladies and gentlemen.
Standing all alone, lonelier than I've ever been. Feeling the cold water slowly closing in. Realizing that letting you go would be my last big sin. So watch you drift away
around Sweetwater Rim. Sweetwater Rim, oh, Sweetwater Rim. Please, cold river, come and heal my heart. Sweetwater Rim, oh, Sweetwater Rim. Help me find a way to give love a brand new start. Finally lifting up my eyes, will I see a wide open sky? This is not where my life ends, only where it begins. So watch you drift away around the Sweetwater Rim. Sweetwater Rim, oh, Sweetwater Rim. Please, cold river, help me heal my heart. Sweetwater Rim, oh, Sweetwater Rim. Help me find a way to give love a brand new start.
Dude, incredible. Like, I mean, seriously. For those of you listen now, you get what I've been trying to convey. I'm not good with words, but this right here doesn't do anybody any good sitting in a college classroom. He should be out on the road connecting people like me that are in a rough spot in their life, or that need a bump, or just somebody who's already happy and wants to be happier should be at a live venue watching this guy play guitar. Like, that's it. So when you talk about life choices and somebody going, hey, I'm going to leave college, that's a big deal. That's not something that somebody takes every day and says at 18 years old, I got a scholarship, I just went to school for 12 years, I'm going to go to school again, but then say, hey, I'm going to hit the pause button and quit. I don't want to do this. And I don't even call it quitting. No. You know, people say Dugan quit school. You even say it, I quit college. I don't think you quit college. I just think you realized you've outgrown college already, and you can come back to it. College is always going to be there. You just heard him play guitar, self-taught, right here in the Bighorn Mountains.
Graduated.
Self-taught with local musicians helping him. Like, this right here is the American dream to me. And Dugan, if you just heard that, Dugan is going to continue to make music like this and even better and touch millions and millions of people. My point is, if you have a skill like this, or you have a passion like this and you love it, and Brady said it, it's not an 18-year-old, it's a 15-year-old, it's a 40-year-old, it's a 70-year-old. You never know what's going to happen tomorrow. Move forward with that, whether you're a knife maker, a woodworker, a florist, a musician, you want to be a nurse. It doesn't matter what it is, but if there's something that you want to do and you're not doing it now, and you get in a car every day, or you wake up every morning and go, man, I don't want to go to this job. I don't want to be around these people in my life. There's something that I'd like to do that would make me happy. Do it. Do it. Figure out a way to do it. Do it.
F it.
F it.
Live by whatever.
Live by whatever. F
thing.
it. This is an 18-year-old giving me life lessons like he has for the last 6 months. He just didn't realize it. He's one of a dozen people. But the other guy sitting next to him, Brady, every time I talk to them, they give me a life lesson, and they don't realize when they walk away from the conversation or give me a hug, they don't realize that they're changing my life for the positive every second that I spend with them and talk to them. I'm changing my life and doing things I've always wanted to do, but I didn't do because I was embarrassed or worried, or, man, I don't want to do that. People aren't going to think I'm cool. You know what? Or I'm not following the status quo, or I'm not going to be like that person. Make a decision in your life to be happy, and start with doing something that you love. You spend half your time asleep or in your house. You spend the other half of your time out in the world, and a lot of that is doing your job. If you don't enjoy either of those two things, change your situation, change your story. That was awesome, man. Like,
thank you.
That was awesome. And we're in a dinky room in the bottom of a building on Main Street in Sheridan, Wyoming, and you heard the sound quality of this kid's voice, and that's him whistling, and this is self-taught, like Dugan Irby band.
I was playing the Cavs.
Yes.
Cavs.
Brady was playing the Cavs. Dugan, what
You
is?
killed it, by the way.
I'm gonna have you play another song because I've watched you play it.
You got sunshine in you,
It's a
my
song
friend.
that's super. Brady just said it. You've got sunshine in you, man. Like people need to feel the heat and the rays and
People got
the
cloudy
warmth
days.
from that sunshine. Why people are here and they're on their phones or they're listening to this in their car or whatever, or at home. Where can people find Dugan Irby Band? What's your social media?
So my Instagram, let me go look at it. It's just
do your
Dugan
personal, and you have two right now, or just the one?
Just
okay.
the one.
It's
Just the one. Yeah.
read
Okay,
it.
but by the time you hear this, he's gonna have Dugan Irby Band set up. So
Should I do that?
go look
Yes.
at Dugan Irby Band.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So my account is Dugan Irby on
Okay.
Instagram. I don't know how to do Facebook.
But only look up Dugan
by the
Irby
time
Band.
this airs, Brady and I will make sure that you have Dugan Irby Band on both Instagram and Facebook. Like by the time anybody hears this, go check out Dugan Irby Band. Google Dugan Irby Band, or search it on Facebook and social media, or search Dugan Irby, DUGAN IRBY.
Yeah.
Like go check it out. Just go check it out and follow. And I keep saying kid, man, but you're more of a man than I am, because I didn't make decisions like this when I was your age. But go check out Dugan and follow him, and I will continue to push him through Bison Union and my personal page, because he's had a profound impact his music has on my life. I'll keep saying it. Man, we all listen to music. I don't know anybody out there that doesn't listen to music when they're working out, at home, cleaning their house. It's touched our lives. And this, to me, I'm going to get political here for a few minutes, because we're about to listen to you play a song that you and I talked about. I said, hey, right before we started, Otis Redding. One of the things that this country, if we look at the history of music, Black, Latino, Asian, white, whatever it is, the amount of people from all these walks of life that put part of their culture into the music that we all listen to every day. Eddie Van Halen died yesterday. Eddie Van Halen played the riff on Beat It with Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson started playing with the Jackson 5, who got all their music from Motown and soul, and people like Sam Cooke and Otis Redding, and I don't know a white kid in America that didn't listen to Beat It and Thriller when I was growing up. It was the hottest album. It was the hottest tour. I'm dating myself. I'm 44 years old, but man, Michael Jackson tour, and that was the tour. You
Beat
went
It
and
was
saw
like the theme of my 16-year-old life.
You went and saw Michael Jackson, but my point is, man, music is happiness to me, and even crazy music. Like I remember Metallica was like satanic music when I was in high school. Now, man, like the people that listen to Metallica and who have embraced them, they paved the way. Ozzy Osbourne, Metallica, all these people that were considered, satanic. And my point is, man, music is very, you can find a lot of peace in music, and I think everybody does every day of their life. I don't know anybody that probably doesn't listen to some sort of music at some point throughout their daily ritual, because it's in our phones. You literally have a jukebox in your hand every single day that will play, for $5 a month, you can play any song ever made in America that's been produced and
$5
sold.
a month?
Well, $5 or $6. I don't know what's I use, and I'm probably dating myself, but I use
Three.
I use Pandora, which is every time I use it, the girls that work for us in the coffee shop think I'm an old man because I use Pandora, but it's great. You know what I mean? They're like, you use Pandora?
Yeah, I'm on Napster.
I'm on Napster. I got Napster on the back of my MySpace page. Anyway, you want to play one more?
Might as well jump.
which I've watched you play. I've watched you play several times live in the coffee shop or at the Bighorn Y at the gas station playing. And the Bighorn Y, I keep talking about it. It's owned by a local family. It's a local Bonnie who runs it. It's a gas station out in the middle of Wyoming, 10 miles outside of town from Sheridan. It's literally a gas station. It's a log cabin gas station that is set up a little bit of a deck to serve food, but they play music there. And man, next summer, I'm personally going to push it. Bison Union will, these guys will, but there's not a better Friday or Saturday night than watching Dugan Irby Band play at the Y gas station with the Bighorn Mountains in the background right here in Sheridan, Wyoming. And I'll push this next year. If you're listening to this and you want a good weekend, you're coming out to Yellowstone or whatever, come to the Bighorn Y. And I'm not affiliated with them at all. I just drive by it every day, twice a day when I go home or come into town from the mountains. And I stop there. I get my gas there. I get stuff there.
I used to hire Dugan every week.
Yeah.
Brady was my boss. That's how we met, actually.
Doing what?
Playing music
Playing music. Yeah, he was my boss.
at Luminous Brewhouse.
Oh, that's right. Luminous Brewhouse is another place that you guys play. You know, it's a local brew house that is about as the whole inside of it looks like an 1800s bar. It's all wood. It's it's right
Are you
off.
gonna play Sitting on the Dock of the Bay?
I
My favorite part, everybody, wait for it, is when he goes, "Oh."
I do that.
So your next song, Brady jumped. Good segue. Brady threw it out there. Sitting on the Dock of the Bay by Otis Redding. I've seen you play it live. He's seen you a lot play it live.
And I want to hear that.
One of my favorite songs to hear you play. So yes, sir. Okay. So Dugan Irby Band, look on social media. Brady, you can find it Brady Till Death and Go Fast Don't Die. Obviously Bison Union sponsors the show. Check out Bison Union. We're going to close out the show here in its entirety. Dugan's going to play Otis Redding, a version of Otis Redding Sitting by the Dock of the Bay.
I'm going to go dance off camera.
And Brady's going to go dance off camera. Thank you guys so much for listening to the podcast. We will have Dugan on many more times. Brady will be on many more times. As always, it's a good day to be alive. Don't F it up.
F it.
F it, but don't F it up.
But don't F it up.
The other one is for everybody at home. Tell your dogs we said hi. Let's hear it, man. Otis Redding.
Oh, can I steal this back? Yeah.
Morning sun, I'll be sitting when the evening comes, watching the ships rolling, then I'll watch them roll away again. Yeah, sitting on the dock of the bay, watching the tide roll away. On the dock of the bay, oh, wasting time. My home, in Georgia, headed for the Frisco Bay. 'Cause I've had nothing to live for, and nothing's gonna come my way. So I'm just gonna sit on the dock of the bay, watching the tide roll away. On the dock of the bay, oh, wasting time, yeah. Sitting here, resting my bones. This loneliness won't leave me alone. It's 2,000 miles I've roamed just to make this old dog my home. On the dock of the bay, watching the tide roll away. Sitting on the dock of the bay, oh, wasting time, yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much, guys. Thanks for listening. Dugan, thank you for coming on, man.
Thank you for having me
Thanks
on.
for keep casting a light out there of positivity, man. The world needs more Dugan Irby.
Thank you.
Brady, thanks for coming on, buddy. Love you. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, man.